Hey, hi everyone, and welcome back to Sabrina the Kitchen Witch. I am so excited for this new moon reading today. Right before we dive in, I just want to remind you that there is a link in the comments below for my Ko-fi page. So if you're looking to access a little bit more for either new moon readings, full moon readings, you'd like that little extra coven reading that we have available on Ko-fi, we have Discord access where you can join the community. We can chit chat, we can share. There's so many goodies on Ko-fi and the subscription-based memberships that you don't really get fully here. But these readings will always be offered for free every new moon and every full moon. So now that we're going to dive into the Aries new moon reading, this is a big one because it's the second new moon in Aries. So we had our first one on the first day of Aries, and we are having the second new moon in Aries right at the tail end of Aries season. So this is something that very rarely happens. The fact that the first season of the zodiac, so that being just celebration and newness and renewal and rebirth, happening with a second new moon in the same season is a pretty big deal. So I have all my notes here because not only do we have the second new moon in Aries, but we also have it following on the first eclipse that we're going to see during this eclipse season. So we have a full solar eclipse that's also occurring. So a lot of like amplifying big energies that are happening in the sky right now, my loves. So let's look into this. So I have my notes here. A lot of it has been taken from Shani, who I absolutely adore. Shani Nicholson. If you don't follow her, you absolutely must. So a lot of this is insight from her. So in this new cycle, all the Aries eclipses will occur near the north node of the moon. The north node amplifies everything, making this eclipse extra, like extra. A point in space that represents hunger and increase, okay? That means that we will notice a surge of the cardinal fire signs qualities. So the cardinal fire sign in this sentence being Aries. So the qualities being courage, independence, and cutting edge first. So these things are going to be amplified not just by the second new moon, but by this eclipse season. Aries tends to blaze trails. They really like to be the first at the forefront, of course, being the first sign of the zodiac. So whenever North Node eclipses happen in Aries, which is what's happening right now, we can expect other things that are not so pleasant, but things like competitiveness, impatience, and a heightened preoccupation with ourselves. So there is a possibility to succeed under the guise of greed right now. So if you're not thinking about other people, if you're not implementing community in your work right now, this is going to kind of come back and bite you in the ass a little bit. You might be able to succeed climbing the ladder by stepping on others, but it's going to be a short-lived victory, and it is not going to be something that is going to hold up over time. Our world is a web of interconnections after all, and if there's one lesson that this cycle of eclipses wants us to understand, it's that no one wins alone. That's one thing that I really love, is that it might make us feel like we have to do everything on our own, or it might bring out this heightened competitiveness in ourselves where we feel like we can only exceed or like reach a certain bar by ourselves. But it's actually going to be something way more sustainable, way more impactful, and way more effective if you actually do work in community where you actually highlight the understanding and the compassion needed for others, and you create some kind of change, some kind of impact based on that energy. So ego is in the spotlight, so there are harsh realizations that are going to come for some of you. It's crucial to consider other people's needs alongside your own. The easier it is for you to win in a circle and support those coming up behind, the softer this lesson will be. So for those of you who are really contrary or against the idea of working in community and working with others, this lesson might be a little bit harder for you. Some of the things that Shani says for us to keep note of during this period is to expect the unexpected, to refrain from making big decisions or launching major initiatives from April 19th to May 5th. So that's the entirety of eclipse season. We're going to be seeing solar eclipses. We're going to be seeing lunar eclipses. There's a lot that's going to be going on for the next little while, all also happening during the start of Mercury in retrograde. So this is not the time to make big decisions. Eclipse energy is volatile, so it's best to start new projects after the turbulence has passed, so after May 5th. Practice activities that release the ants in your pants, okay? So if you're feeling on edge, if you're feeling like you downed 6 espresso shots and you're feeling quite jittery, this is a really, really good time to practice anything that allows you to release that kind of antsy energy. Support your sleep routine by avoiding screens at least an hour before going to bed. So you really want to start supporting your nervous system in that sense. Prioritize quality time with people that you love. Learn whether this eclipse is impacting your birth chart. So if that's something that you're interested in, see where Aries falls, if it falls in your birth chart. See what sign is in the North Node in your birth chart. These are all things that you can do online, whether on Cafe Astrology or on Shani's app. Finally, working through any emotions that this eclipse pushes to the surface. You can do this by guided meditations, by journaling, by finding any rituals. You can always go back also to my Aries season workshop that I have on Ko-fi. It's $22. There's rituals, there's recipes, there's journal prompts in there. And the Taurus season workshop is actually going to be coming up on the first day of Taurus season. So if, again, you hit that link in the comments, you'll be able to get access to the Ko-fi page, and you'll be able to get access to the workshop just for 22 bucks. So before we begin, as always, we're going to take a moment to meditate, pray on these energies, really infuse this deck. I'm actually using an old deck I haven't used in such a long time. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Kranz. I adore this deck. This was one of my first, a really long time ago, actually. My first non-Rider-Waite deck. And I'm pretty stoked. I felt really, really pulled to use this app today. This deck today. So you can keep your hands to your heart. You can place your hands on your chest, or you can just drop your arms by your sides. But what's most important is to have your feet really nicely planted, all 4 corners of your feet on the floor so that you can ground. We're going to take a nice deep breath in all together. And as we exhale out the mouth, feel the shoulders release. 2 more times, just like that. Deep breath in. And out. Last one, full inhale. And a full exhale. Eyes remain closed, bowing the chin to the chest. We take this moment to connect to the energies most high, our ancestors, our guardian angels, our soul family. We ask you to be present during this reading for the collective on this April 2nd, April season, Aries season new moon here. So we have the 2nd Aries season new moon and a solar eclipse approaching on Wednesday, April 18th. Really starting to fuse in the energies of amplification of competitiveness, potential impatience, and potential ego. We want to know what it is that we need to sift through these really, really big themes and these big energies so that instead of leaning into the competitiveness and the impatience, we could lean more into the idea of presence, the way that we show up in the world, the way that we show up as ourselves. We want to amplify the energies of ideas, of action, but of slow, controlled action. This idea that now we are approaching eclipse season where we need to renew, we need to reassess, we need to rebirth. Thinking of these ideas and starting to put more attention on them so that we know exactly what it is that we need to do coming out of eclipse season, so that the collective doesn't get muddled up, doesn't get lost, doesn't get confused in the amplification of these energies, in the noise, in the humdrum of the day-to-day. Really start to shine a spotlight on exactly what it is that each person here present listening to this reading needs to hear in order to bring out the most that they can from this gorgeous 2nd new moon in Aries and this solar eclipse season. So what is it that the collective needs to know? What is it that we can avoid? What is it that we need to pay attention to? What messages need to be delivered clearly so that the collective can get through this eclipse season with ease, with understanding, and with a little bit more foundation under their feet, so that each step that the person takes who's listening to this reading will take this step with clarity, with full understanding, and with full confidence that this is exactly where they need to be. Once this reading is complete, may the energies remain in the collective, may my energy remain mine, and may each person gain exactly what it is that they need to hear. Please reveal what it is that needs to be revealed. Take a nice deep breath in, and out the mouth, exhale. Alrighty. So, let's see what we got going on right away. Woo! All right. So starting right off the bat with a little major arcana, minor arcana, another. Oh, I'm going to just grab these two. Yes, perfect. Ooh, we have a really nice healthy mix of major and minor arcana. So we're dealing with day-to-day themes, and we're dealing with overall overarching themes. So major arcana right off the bat, we're starting here with Temperance. So this beautiful stork in pause, taking the time to deliver this package. Temperance is the card of balance. Temperance is seeking moderation, flow, understanding the energies around you without manipulating them, just simply taking the time to understand them and assess. This is the time to find purpose, to alchemize, okay? So for those of you who are starting to brew something, feeling something coming up, an idea that you want to give a little bit more attention to, Temperance card is telling you to start weighing out the pros and cons. Maybe give a little bit more attention and energy to this idea, okay? We want to stay away from excess. So again, moderating. If you've been feeling the pull to change up your routine, your eating habits, your work-life balance, this card is starting to tell you this is the perfect time to start reassessing that. For some of you, you might know that or notice that you are having more meaningful encounters. You're finding a harmony and a balance in things. This is a nice time to assess your energy in the presence of other people. So if you've been starting to feel like certain relationships, friendships, bonds, business partnerships are not making you feel like once you leave that you're not fulfilled, that your body is out of this homeostasis and it's a little bit in fight or flight and you need to constantly self-regulate, Temperance is the card to knock at the door and let you know, some of this stuff is making me feel off balance, off kilter. I don't feel good when I'm putting my energy in this situation or when I'm placing energy into this person. I don't feel that there is that equity, that balance, that equivalence in what feels good to give and receive, right? We don't always only, hang out with people or meet up with people so that we can see what they're going to give to us. But if we're always giving advice, giving energy, giving support, and we don't feel that way, we don't feel that return, we don't feel that reciprocity, Temperance is telling you, if this is making you feel off balance, it's worth reassessing and worth potentially cutting out, right? So we have next up is 4. We have the 4 of Wands. All right. So we're looking at this constant crossing of paths, crossing shapes, but then at the same time, it's always bringing us into this focused clarity, so to speak. So we have the 4 of Wands, community, because nothing is crossing in a way that makes it feel, if you look at this card, we have a lot of players here. We have a lot of these wands converging, a lot of these lines, a lot of these energies, but everything is bringing it to this focal point in the center. I don't know about you, but when I look at this card, I feel like it gives me these horse blinders to really, really focus on what this is at the center. Okay? Community. This is a full-blown community card. Exactly what we were talking about at the beginning. You're not going to win at life, win at your goals, win at your plans if you're not taking community into consideration. What does this mean? It could be on a micro scale. Being more cognizant of the way that you speak about others. Are you gossiping? Are you participating in gossip? That's not community. That is the complete antithesis to community. So that's on a micro scale. That's the way that you speak and the way that you accept speech around you. If you want to, ripple effect, you start to think of the ideas, the business plans that you have, and how this can help your community. Now, if you're not doing something that's necessarily like, oh, I want to start a soup kitchen, it doesn't have to be something like that. But if you're starting a business, you want to think about the global impact that it has, or the city impact that it has. Are there a lot of emissions going out into the world in order for you to create the product that you are creating? Is there, are you making your content, whatever it is that you're making, accessible to people? Are you offering sliding scale? Are you offering multiple pricing options? Are you emphasizing your inclusivity in whatever it is that you're launching? You could launch an app. You can launch an app and think of the ways that it would affect the community around you, whether it be in your city, whether it be in your province or state, whether it be on a more global scale. How are you making an impact, and how can that help your community around you? So this card is very, very much a convergence of people. For some of you, this might mean marriage. Okay, so this can also be a marriage card or an important milestone that's coming along. Okay, so keep that in mind. But we're looking at the way that things converge together. Okay, next up, we have another major arcana. So we're looking at the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the teacher or leader. I love how it's a crow sitting on a key. Okay, crows can be looked at as a negative symbol or a scary symbol, but they're actually quite potent and quite powerful. They are the messenger of other worlds. And this instance, it is holding the key. You want to understand who you want to learn from, what kind of leaders you want to follow. Okay, there is a major, major, major downfall on its way of leaders in the world on a really, really high scale. We are going to see the downfall of people that we put on a pedestal. This is your reminder to never put anyone too high, too high on your obsession scale. Some of us will think of Deepak Chopra. Some of us will think of Eckhart Tolle. Some of us will think of the President of the United States. Some people will look at a figure in the world and put them on such a high pedestal as if this person, this teacher, this leader is the end-all be-all messenger for all things democratic, all things all-knowing, anything that has to do with a strong, solid foundation. You do not want to put a person on top of this foundation and think that they can do no wrong. So this is your reminder to be really, really careful, be really, really discerning about the people that you learn from. And this doesn't also, I was talking about major global figures because that's something that we have to pay attention to as a society. We're going to start to notice the downfall of some major leaders in the world. But this is also on a more micro scale. Are you investing in a business or life coach? Are you investing in a therapist? Are you going to seminars? Are you going to workshops? Who are you paying to teach you the things that you need to learn? Because remember, this is you learning, and you are going to take these teachings and you are going to go out into the world with these teachings to amplify the energies that you are specifically targeting. So who is it that you're giving your money and energy to? Some of y'all are not really paying good enough attention to who it is that you are accessing. And this doesn't even have to be who you're giving your money to. Who are you following on Instagram? What YouTube videos are you watching? Who are you paying so much attention to that is actually completely misaligned and coming from a more ego-based place? They are not looking to actually teach you properly. They are not looking to change your life. They are simply looking to amass followers, amass notoriety, and maybe even amass money. Okay, so this is a really, really big siren for some of y'all to pay attention to who it is that you're putting on some kind of a pedestal and who you're learning from. Make sure that the people that you're learning from are trusted. Listen to your intuition, listen to your gut. You do not want to be just willy-nilly with whoever it is that you're learning these very, very important lessons from. So this is so super important. Next up, we have the Daughter of Pentacles. Look at this beautiful young fawn. I love how there's always a lot of rainbow colorful energy with this deck. But the Daughter of Pentacles is typically it signifies someone who likes to be out of the spotlight. So what's really, really interesting, like I said before, is that this Aries new moon with the solar eclipse is really going to put the spotlight on the ego. And so this is that reminder that there is so much reward in being a little bit more behind the scenes so that you can plan, so that you can become a little bit more practical. You use that energy of Aries, that fire sign, that cardinal fire sign, to really whip up some passion and some fire and some excitement. But then this is that reminder, the Daughter of Pentacles here is that gentle reminder to allow yourself to be a little bit more subdued, maybe keep a couple of things, under your sleeve or under your hat. Don't share all of your plans with everyone. The Daughter of Pentacles, just by looking at this card, you can see this calm, this ease, this patience, this understanding of the benefit of being a little bit more hidden. There's a grace and a balance, again, that Temperance card, in that balance of knowing when to put yourself out there, when to be the center of attention, when to be the MVP, and when to understand the importance of just being a little bit more behind the scenes. All right. I think that one is pretty self-explanatory. I don't feel like I have to stick to this card a lot longer. It ends with the last card of the major arcana. So the World is a card that signifies completion, that signifies harmony, that signifies the ending of a cycle. So what's really interesting is that the new moon is the beginning of the lunar cycle. It is completely dark. You can just kind of see the ring of light around the moon, and then we start to get the waxing crescent that brings us to the full moon, and then the waning crescent that brings us back to the new moon. So I love how this card is coming up, because it's letting you know that, okay, Aries season, we're tying that up, and we're tying that up with a new moon. New moon is letting us know that something is ending so that something can begin. I want to come back to the Hierophant. Okay, who is it that you are choosing to learn from? And maybe is this the end of you choosing to lean on other people and understanding that maybe at this point, self-study or self-reflection or looking inward is something that you need to be doing. Start to trust that you don't need to go out there and seek the understandings and visions of others, and start to cultivate that deep relationship with self, that beautiful relationship that you can be cultivating with your own intuition. Okay, we're going back again to that Temperance card of finding that harmony and that balance, that understanding of when to be rah, 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 and when to be a little bit more calm. There is, again, this card, I want to come back glossing over everything. All right, we had the Four of Wands. We have a really, really nice kind of celebratory energy of understanding community. And there could be nothing more beautiful about this second new moon in Aries, along with this solar eclipse, to remind you that there's no I in team, okay? Being present as a physical being is a collective effort. We do these card readings for the collective. So there are some of you individually that will feel like some of these cards really, really hit home, and some may not feel the same way about those cards. And that's to remember that our experience is multifaceted, and that you may come back to this reading in a couple of days or a couple of weeks and feel how certain cards apply more to your life and to your situation than others did. So there's that constant ebb and flow, that understanding that not everything is linear and that we have to allow ourselves to go with it. And if we ignite the fire of Aries energy and the solar eclipse, and we take that dial and we turn it too high, like you would when you're cooking, okay? We're always going to go back to that food energy, okay, with Kitchen Witch. If you are trying to cook a meal and you're in a rush, and that meal came straight out of the fridge, and you put it on the stove, you cranked up the heat to high, you're going to have a burnt exterior and a cold interior. Your meal is not going to be exactly what it is that you wanted. Does it look on the surface like it might be ready? Kind of, but on the inside, it's still frozen at the center. You want time to allow these things to flourish. I know that Aries season can give us that gumption, and I'm moving so much like this because that's how I feel Aries energy presents itself. And then we just add on that layer of the solar eclipse and just bam, we're amplifying it. So I don't want anybody to feel like just because energies are high that the actions have to match that energy. Understand that emotions are high, that fire is high, that passion is high, that hunger is high, that competitiveness is high, that impatience is high. Understanding that there is a heightened aspect to all of these things, and then allow yourself to temper all of this heightened energy with your calm, with your resolve, with your understanding that you don't always have to be at the center in order for things to work out for you. Quiet contemplation, prayer, meditation, these are all incredible things, incredible tools that will help you through all of this rah energy. But remember also that if you hit that link to Ko-fi that's in the comments, you will be able to access a bonus reading. So this one is done. We are done for the big collective reading for the second new moon in Aries and the solar eclipse. But if you were one of my members on Ko-fi, any of the tiers, you are going to be able to access the bonus video that will be coming out. And we're going to take all of this energy and we're going to get into it even deeper. We're going to get a deeper understanding of what it is that these cards mean. I'm going to pick a few more. So if you don't feel like this was enough, that's when you hit that Ko-fi button. That's where you follow me. You choose the tier that works best for you. If YouTube and these videos is more than enough for you, on Ko-fi, you also have the opportunity to send a little donation if you're feeling like you want to just give back. But I will continue to offer these new moon and these full moon readings for free on YouTube, no matter what. But if you want to send over that little donation, that little something, that would be nice. Otherwise, hitting the subscribe button, liking, sharing, commenting, letting people in your life who love new moon, full moon, zodiac energy, send this video to them, have them share it, and just spread the love, y'all. This is what helps me out, and this is what helps you out. And I couldn't be happier to be able to provide these readings for you. So thank you so much. Another beautiful new moon wrapping up with the Kitchen Witch. And I wish all of you just the most beautiful energy during this eclipse season, during the oncoming of Mercury retrograde, and hope that y'all just stay centered, you self-regulate, a lot of self-love, and we'll get through this together. All right. Much love. Mwah. Ciao. Take care. Have a beautiful new moon, everyone.